Oh, hi. How are you? Thanks for joining the show. Galan. Let me just grab some of that sticky rice. Get your galan at my girlfriend's shop soon in Phnom Penh. I'll tell you why I laugh at myself, because I don't sit there and go, what I'll do is, what the fuck is that? I don't plan that shit. I know it probably shows, but I'm just doing something and I think, oh shit, look at the time. And then I'm just a bloke on my own in a room. Look, you can try and see it from my point of view. There's no one here. It's a very big room. And then I'm like, oh, hi. I wonder how many people are lost from going, hi. That's not great, is it? That's not a good opener. It's a bit like the bloke from the old Boucher. He used to go, hello. Cheryl Peters, you absolute beauty. Today, the glorious House of Scrubs will have a cunning linguistic intercourse, steady Peters, into the psychology of swearing. Will be grandiose, bluey, and rude, perhaps. Well, thank you, Miss Peters. It will be. Did you get the how late I'd be? What was it today? 3 minutes? Excuse me. Yeah, we're going to talk about swearing, but it's actually got more interesting than I thought it would be. And we'll look at that. We'll wait till there's about 80, 90 people here before we crack on, until we get into the meat of the show, because I tell you what, Kajetal, bless you. Cheryl Peters, thank you for that donation. It's much appreciated. The donations are the grease of the cogs of this twice daily streamathon. When you said to me earlier that there's plenty of recipes on YouTube, I thought he's literally gone off. And interestingly, it's pronounced Galan, but it's spelled in the English with a K. So you must have made some effort. You must have gone to Google and typed in Cambodian rice bamboo, and I tell you what, they're freaking delicious. I've got another one in the fridge for later, but I've done all of that. I mean, there's that little bit left. There's about that much left, and I've done all of that to myself. And here's why I know my missus' business will be successful. It's very busy in Cambodia tonight because it's a Buddhist festival. Everyone's out. I might go out later about 2 a.m. and have a little walk around. There's a lot going on, loads of stalls. As I said earlier, and I don't like to, more gallantries. Amazing. And I know I keep saying this, but I'm not saying it as if to go, oh, we're having it right off over here. But they've just managed, and you know what I mean by the bubonic plague. They've managed the bubonic plague differently. There's been hardly any deaths. There's been hardly any injections of hysteria, so to speak. I'm encrypting this, people. They say there have, but there hasn't. There's a black market in Pax passports. And they said that they were going to check everyone in every restaurant, every bar and shop and everything. They did for like a day. You wouldn't know there was anything happening here. And I think they've just, dare I say it, been sensible. You know, there was a little period where there were businesses closing, but they've all reopened again. There's hotels being built. There's bars being opened. That I told you that little bar down there has just opened up. There's a new restaurant being built there, and I you know, I have to be a little bit careful here. I'm not a medical person, but you know, what are you going to do? These things happen. And it was like I had that clip on the other week where the bloke said they did not look into the potential sacrifices, cultural, social, and economic damage that a so-called solution would cause. The sacrifices and damages that a solution would make happen. And over here, I think they've opted for the former. All right, so some people are going to snuff it from diseases. I mean, it's a sad fact, but that happens in life. And even that hasn't really happened here. I mean, let me have a look at the current toll. Hang on. Where is it? How do I find it? No, it's weird. 2,800 deaths. 2,800. Hang on. 17 million people. There's been 2,800 deaths. And even that, you know, there's people over here like 100, 110 years old. I don't know. It's just like you wouldn't know anything was happening. They've got rid of the quarantine when you come here. Anyway, Kajettel, yeah, they're delicious, mate. I mean, what I know I'll do this because I always do this. I'll get them every day, and I will carry on what I was talking about a minute ago when I was talking about Diamond Island and buying it. But I'll do it every day for a few weeks, and then I'll be like, oh, no more. And then I'll give it a few weeks, and then I'll get one occasionally. That's kind of my process with something I discover. But this is how I know my missus' business will do well. Gabate, Diamond Island is a 15, 25 minutes there and back in traffic. If I go, well, you can't go late because it's closed. I was there for about 4 or 5 minutes, and he must have sold 20 or so when I was there. And I was just in the queue, and there was just people coming up. There's scales there. You buy them by weight. You know, there's 4 or 5 people. There's 2 servers, and you just pick up the ones you want, put them on the scales, and then you pay for them. And just while I was there, 2, 2, 2, 3, 5, 2, and I thought, set this up in the middle of Phnom Penh, you'll be fucking laughing, man. Fly the whole city, then set another one up in Sensok City, then set another one up down in Russian Market area. Good business, good business. And they must be being made local. There's no way someone's bringing them in every day from Battambang or Siem Reap. No way, 7 hours. Add to that the 4 or 5 at 6 hours to make them. Doesn't make sense. So they're being made local. And my girlfriend's mum said most of the old people know how to make them. So it might just be a question of finding someone who's prepared to make them. But yeah, I don't really know how I can get you one, Kajettel. You'll have to get over here. You know the score. You could have at least put some stars in that, Mr. Corona. Look at that, already up to 63. Lovely. Manufactured at Diamond Island, sponsored by Pocari Sweat. I got a Pocari Sweat out of the fridge earlier, but I put it back in. It's all right, but I'm trying to cut down on my sugar. There's not a lot of sugar in it, but if you're cutting down, you're cutting down. Now, while we're waiting for people to get here, let me show you something hilarious. It's a bit of female, it's a bit of toxic femininity, and yet not. So I've been getting right into my street beefs. And today I stumbled across a fight. Mrs. Mudd. Yep. Yeah. Of all the names in the world you could call yourself, she called herself Mrs. Mudd. She looks like a geezer. Versus Psycho. Now, with a name like Psycho, you know that this is going to be a Mrs. Mudd versus Psycho. And all I could think while I was watching it was, women can't fight. Women can't fight. And I'll say this. It's much like that bloke that played the... what are those two sisters, black women, who played tennis? The Williams sisters. A bloke who was about 600th in the world played both of them, one after the other, and won in straight sets against the top women tennis players. And he had a couple of beers before he played because he just knew. He knew they couldn't hit the ball as hard as him. He knew that they couldn't hit the ball as fast as him, and he was just confident. And I know you see your Ronda Rouseys and that, but I'm not even convinced someone like Ronda Rousey would be able to take on an averagely fit man. I'm really not. When I see even the pro females fighting, they're not very good. They're physically not made for fighting. Not as much as men are. I'm sorry. I think that. Anyway, this fight between Mrs. Mudd and Psycho is so funny. Now, I know it's street beefs, but most of the men's fights, they're kind of respectful. They have a little tear up, and afterwards they're like, nice one, mate. This one immediately is, get off my fucking shirt, you bitch. And it looks like two meth mums. They look like meth mums. They're having a fight because someone stole her meth pipe. And there's a really weird bit where you hear a kid who's about 5 going, hit her, mum, hit her. And you're just like... So it's a little bit painful. Did anyone hear that weird... Oh, speaking of weird... I want to show you something from Foot Golf's latest podcast wars, because perchance a fart. If someone could keep an eye on the Rittenhouse situation, because if the verdict is called, I'd like to know. We're not going to bother watching it because it's a bit nothing happening really. But I want you to see the latest. I think Foot Golf let out a little trump. As my mum used to call it. Now I've already time-stamped it. So tell me what you think. Oh, he's replied to me. Think it was the wingback. No, I think you farted. So we'll take it back to 2:15. Take it back to 2:12. So listen carefully. One in the chat, please, if you think Foot Golf farted. Ready? I'll play it to you now. Loads of people chatting. Nice one, Packer. Fuck me if the fucker ain't fucking well fucked. Did you hear my song? Did you hear my little song? Nice one, Packer. Well, no, it's just jury. The jury are still discussing the case. Right, so I want you to tell me. I'll give you the link. It's his best show yet. Skin Skull said, get that Cambodian food stall, move sounds. Get on that Cambodian food stall, move sounds. Get on that Cambodian food stall, move. Sounds a good job for the missus. Your execs will be near to nothing. If I was there, I'll be looking right into that. Oh, no, without a doubt, we are. It's happening because I just think they'll sell like hotcakes. He's making a fortune and he's right out of the way and people go there. So I've just got to find a manufacturer and then just get her a little, out here you can just put a table up and an umbrella and just start selling them. And once I get my marketing involved, I'll get loads of flyers around the whole of Phnom Penh. We'll get her a business phone, just a little burner, little Nokia burner for about £10. Put the number on it and then start doing deliveries. and then tuck up all the restaurants. You know, how nice of a restaurant as a leaving gift, give them a galan. So, you know, have that when you get home, something nice like that. And also I said to her, if we do that with the restaurants, we can do them a deal on like 5 or 10 of anything that doesn't sell. So if it's not sold by 8 o'clock, then we go around the restaurants and sell them to them for cost. That way we don't lose any money. Then we'll get a scooter delivery boy. People can ring up. Can you bring over 5? Minimum order 5 for a scooter. But lovely. You know, the petrol on a scooter would be about 5p to anywhere in the city. I fill my tank up and it lasts for about a month. Anyway, let me know if you think our friend Foot Golf lets out a little... It's more of a... most delightful. It's more of a little delightful. But I will put a link to the whole video in. It is the best one of the podcast was yet. So let me know if in about 5 seconds you hear a little... because I need some confirmation. Do you know what I mean, Ian? It'll be at 30 grand a month all day long. Right, sorry, people. The old audio, and with a fart, it's kind of important. Fart sponge. Right, listen out for it, people. Listen out for it.
Favorites. But yeah, Atwood, as much as he's a massive fan of this channel, I did find what I did, obviously the stuff, you know, with...
Did you hear it? Did you hear it? We'll just have it again. Ready? Hang on, I'll cue you.
He's a massive fan of this channel. I did find what I did, obviously the stuff, you know, with...
that is a fart. Defo a fart. Yeah. But I'll put a link in. Thank you. We have got that was a fart. Emoji fart. Definitely a fart. Come on, John. It's very generous, but that ain't a leather chairs don't make that. They don't. They go not. It's a very different kind of fart. And I can't imagine that's leather. This is Richard we're talking about, surely. Anyway, here's the link. Hello, Aldo. Good to see you. Here's the link to the show. It's his episode 7. He's already got there, and he's already got to 102 subscribers. No, outward comments on every one. It's quite nice. Yes, that was what, you know, that's his age, though, isn't it? That kind of skill comes with age. If you can just sort of continue, not even flinch, just let it out. It's almost like it's nothing to do with you. Anyway, let's get back to Mrs. Mudd and Psycho, and just check out this woman fight. I mean, you've got everything. You've got everything you don't want. You've got the kid going, "Go on, mum, fucking hit her." You've got pulling her top, and the other one going, "Stop pulling my top, you bitch." You've got one of them doing the old head turning away. that one. Even when they're hitting each other, no one's getting hurt by those punches. I reckon, and again, I'm no fighter, and this isn't me picking on women. This is just me knowing that women aren't really cut out for this. I reckon I could just keep walking into those punches for about an hour, and I'd probably have sore skin before I had any pain. It'd be like, oh, okay, enough rubbing your gloves on my face. It's quite peculiar to watch, but the funniest bit, of course, is this is Meth Mums, Mrs. Mudd. They're not sending their best. The women ain't sending their best to street beefs. Check it.
Going on, and they're gonna do so in an MMA match. So y'all be safe, fight hard.
Ladies, come in. You understand? Listen to me at all times. Have a good, clean fight. Touch gloves, smell. Back up a little bit. You ready? Ready?
That one on the left looks like Roger Daltrey. The one on the right has got male pattern balding and is possibly pregnant. Anyway, carry on. Go on, ladies. Good, clean fight. Can we just note the Queensbury Rules posture of the one on the right? I think that's psycho. Look at Daltrey.
Hey, stop that shirt. Right.
Oh, give a fuck. Come on, there it is.
You want more? You got it.
Come on, talk about you.
There you go. Let's just have that again. Note the crowd. Get her, mum. Get her. I mean, that's what you want, isn't it? You want to see your mum fighting. Ian, that's not a fight. That's an argument. Moslab says, hello, Moslab. Beauty pageant, MMA fight, beauty pageant, MMA fight. I'm sure it's a toss-up between these two inspirations. It's a shocker, isn't it? That's not very nice, Andrew. That's a horrible. Emma's just no more. It is, in its own way, it is terrifying. It gets worse, though. It gets a lot worse. I mean, out of all the street beefs we've watched over the last couple of weeks, I haven't seen any men calling each other "you fucking bitch" while they're fighting. Not one. Not one bloke has called them names. It's so bitchy. Street bitches. Hang on a minute. Here, asking Sky, there might be a few quid in that one. Street bitches. If you've read my story, the one that mentions Eli, Gary, a dealer, my first ever smack dealer, ended up being the longest armed siege in England. Cost the government about 20, I can't remember, millions it was. One day, after I've been scoring off him for a few months, one day he went, my girl's going to serve you today. And I was like, oh, fuck. I went, how am I going to recognize her? He went, you can't miss her. She's a street bitch. Okay, that's nice. Is that what you call her when you're making love? You can't miss her. It's a street bitch. Nice. Here we go. Meth bitches. Methbitches.com. We've all been there.
They can stop short grabbing.
Come on.
I mean, the truth is they're unable to hurt each other. This is why when you end up fighting with a woman, which I have done, I've had psychotic girlfriends, that's why they pick up bottles, ashtrays, knives, anything, because they haven't got it. They can't hurt each other. They've hit each other in the face countless times, but I'm sorry, this is your face. This just isn't going to do anything. No knockouts occur.
Stop holding short. Come on. Hands up.
All right. All right. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Right there. Hands up.
25 seconds.
Take her down.
I don't really. Baby.
Take her down.
Sneeze, come on.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And
Look around, ladies.
both absolutely gassed to fuck at this stage after their one round of no combat. Absolutely shafted. Did you hear their kids? Look at the state of it. Here we go. It ain't over yet. Suffer it, people. Oh. Oh, look, she's got some moves now. Queensbury rules. Look at her go.
There you go. Nice and close.
What is she doing?
There we go. There it was. Set it up.
Oh, the old double paw, forward jumper paw. There you go. The old double paw, front paw, double paw. There. Punching the elbow there.
Come on, get her.
She laughed. Oh, look at Queensbury rules. She pushed her. 2 to the face. They're such meth addicts.
Mom, you know you got her.
Giving junkies a bad name. Stop it. Psycho.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Come on, Psycho. You know what to do? Take her down. Come on, Psycho. Kick her.
The old push there. Double fist push.
Good work, ladies.
Take her
Good
down,
work.
Mom. You know you got her.
I mean, she's going in for the slap there. Action shot. How happy would you be if your missus was going to street beefs and you were like, what's your name? And she went, Mrs. Mudd. You'll be like, attractive stuff. Good stuff. Well, and actually probably good actually, because otherwise it would all be that. Crouching tiger, hidden snatch. A fight to the meth. Keep them going. Yeah, yes, Tito. It is. Anyway, we'll have a little bit more because there is a little bit of action. I mean, look at that. Look how she set up this punch. It's the classic. I don't know what she's gone. It's like a hammer fist. Hammer fist to the arm she's going for. Here we go. Let's see if it lands. Yes.
She might go for your face. Come on, Psycho. Come on, Psycho. Cover your face.
Come on, Psycho.
9, 8, 7, 6.
Yeah, we don't need to see any more because it's just that for another 10 minutes. It's just 10 more minutes of nothing happening. It's ridiculous. Meganesia, after me Eva broke her arm in the circus, had to send her for boxing classes to get her dignity back. Meganesia, you certainly dropped some good ones. In the circus, what? Visiting the circus or performing in the circus? I mean, Meganesia, I don't think English is your first language, but I like the way you've gone after me Eva. You've gone all Cockney on us. After me Eva broke her arm. Nice one, Meganesia. Thanks for that. That's why they're in the mess they're in now, Albert. See what you've done when you stole your love away. Right, let me get this grift sorted out. Bosh, ping, pang, pong. Now, I don't have loads of clips. I've got 2 more things to show you. One's quite long and one's just distressing. But we are going to talk about swearing. And like I say, what I thought it was going to be, it isn't. It's quite a peculiar turnout, actually. We'll see what you think of it. And look, I'm not going to, the whole stream won't be swearing, but this will be a bit of a chill stream. We'll have a little chat, maybe get a couple of you on for a little chat if you're up for it. I did finish work like 5 minutes before we started, so I didn't really have much time. What am I doing? All right there. Hi, you can become a member. This is how you donate to this channel. You can become a member, top link in the description, 3 strata. They get private streams and we all get them on the channel. It's a good laugh. Super chat, $sign at the bottom of the chat. Entropy. If you use Entropy, you don't give any money to YouTube. So that's often a preference. I'll put the Entropy link into YouTube and pin her to the top of the chat. If I can just hold this back a bit. Bosh. Ping. Says it's done. It's taking its time. Ah, come on, you bastard. Well, maybe it has. Can someone tell me if the entropy link is pinned at the top there? So it should be. I don't expect to get rich out of this. I do appreciate a few donations, though. I put a lot of time, effort, passion, and energy into this. I stream twice a day when the missus ain't here, which is a lot of the time. So there you go. And I have to say that something for the boys there at the beginning. I have to say that you're a generous bunch and it works out rather well. I can get a little bit distressed and depressed when I get a after-tax £2.50 stream, but over a month, it's you're very generous and I appreciate it. Vesper check, look at that. Look, my missus would smack the shit out of both of them. Proud. Your bird's a good fighter, yeah? Okay, Rags. All right, we'll have that. We'll have that right now. Because I think you showed me it the other day. Someone did. It's worth watching because it's from a long while ago, isn't it? Yeah, I watched this. Rags, did you send me this the other week? Someone did. And it's actually quite interesting. Let's just find out when it was recorded. It doesn't actually say. But the fact that he's alive and not looking as old as he did when he died. Not everyone's cup of tea, Robin Williams. I thought he was a great comedian. And when Good Morning Vietnam, maybe I'll watch that later, actually. Great movie. When Good Morning Vietnam dropped, it was something else. This is Robin Williams talking about you know the bloke. Check this out from Robin Williams. It's actually brilliant. He's talking about Poe Jiden. And this has got to be, what, 15, 20 years ago? Check it.
We still have comedy, though. We still have great comedy out there. There's always rambling Joe Biden. What the fuck? Joe says shit that even people with Tourette's go, no. No. What is going on? Joe is like your uncle who's got a new drug and hasn't got the dosage right. I'm proud to work with Barack America. He's not a superhero, you idiot. Come here. When FDR was on television, there was no TV back then. Come here, Joe. Sit down. We still have comedy, though. We still have comedy, though. We still have great comedy out there. There's always rambling Joe Biden.
What the fuck? Is it just
Joe
repeating?
says shit that even people with Tourette's go, no. No. What is going on? Joe is like your uncle who's got a new drug and hasn't got the dosage right. I'm proud to work with Barack America. He's not a superhero, you idiot. Come here. When FDR was on television, there was no TV back then. Come here, Joe. Sit down. We still have comedy,
Okay,
though.
so it's just on some weird kind of loop. Amazing that Robin Williams knew exactly. I mean, that's got to be 20 odd years ago. Shocking. They already knew that. Then. Check this out. I mean, this isn't pleasant to watch. Oh, fuck. Where's it gone? Oh, how am I going to get hold of this again? I think someone emailed it to me. Hang on a minute. It's worth waiting for in a kind of why you show me that. But I'll tell you this now. The comments are oh fuck, where is it? Shit. Excuse my language. Where did I get this from? Oh, here we go. Right, I've got it. 1 second, people. It's because I don't have a Twitter account, so I have to sort of spin it. But give me 1 second. Yeah, this is unpleasant as hell. But trust me, most of the comments, I mean, this has had over 1 million views, right? And if you don't know, this is Joy Reid. She's a journalist. She's got like one squirrel tooth. There's a junkie in every town with one squirrel tooth who's called Squirrel. And in this town, it's Joy Reid. But I just want you to listen to what she says. This will boil your piss, really. It will boil your piss. But before you let it boil your piss, rest assured that the chip on this woman's shoulder, the hatred inside this woman, tears her up 24 hours a day. And however frustrated and annoyed you get watching it, she sleeps with the devil. Don't worry about that. You can't have this kind of resentment in your life without it causing you serious psychological, physical, and spiritual damage. Not a chance. So remember that, and that's a bit of a cushion, because it's basically fucking unpleasant. Joy Reid, journalist.
So it's Kyle Rittenhouse trial.
If you didn't understand what it said then, she said, Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And then it was some disgusting click. You'll have it again.
So it's Kyle Rittenhouse trial. It reminded a lot of people of something, I just can't remember what it was. Oh, the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, in which Brett Kavanaugh, who had been accused by a high school friend of committing sexual abuse of her.
You remember the high school friend that it turned out didn't go to that party. Kavanaugh didn't go to that party, and no one remembered her being at that party. That's the one she's talking about. You know, the one that he was completely exonerated because it was all lies. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everyone who's watched Kyle Rittenhouse has thought, what does this remind me of? Oh, yeah, Brett Kavanaugh. Now, in Joy Reid's twisted mind, do you know what the link is? White men. That's it. White men in court. That's the link. I guess there's a few more black men in court, but nonetheless, continue, you horrible bastard.
Cried his way through the hearings to make him a permanent member and Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court. And his tears turned out to be more powerful than the tears of Christine Blasey Ford, which were the tears of an alleged victim. But
she's literally suggesting that Brett Kavanaugh's tears scored more legal points than that Christine Ford. And you know where she's going with this? Can you guess? Can you guess is anyone going to put their money on Red here? This is ridiculous. And you're right. That's exactly where it goes.
in America, there's a thing about both white vigilantism and white tears, particularly male white tears. Really white tears in general, because that's what Karens are, right? They Karen out, and then as soon as they get caught, it's like, Green Waterworks. White men can get away with that too. And it has the same effect. Even as the right tries to politicize the idea that masculinity is being robbed from American men by multiculturalism and wokeism, they still want to be able to have their tears. So my friend Jahan Jones, who writes the brilliant The Reid Out blog, wrote a great piece about this. And if you want to read it, you're going to be able to read it right here.
It's almost a shame that her viewership is just dwindling, isn't it? And thankfully, most of the comments, the majority of the comments are just like, racist pig. It's terrible. What a horrible person. Just horrible. I mean, I thought the woke left were all about men showing emotions until they show emotions. And then it's racist or something. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. But, you know, I can imagine a white newscaster talking about black men's tears in court and getting away with things. How well do you reckon they'd have a job in the morning? Do you reckon their kids would be safe at school in the morning? Do you reckon there'd be people outside their house? And there'd be mainly white people. White liberals are the biggest threat to everyone, which is a fucking, well, they're running America at the moment. Meganesia, lol, so funny you don't think English is my first. Was taught Afrikaner Dutch by Irish nuns. It was one of their favourite subjects. Maybe it was just a typo then, Meganesia. Maybe it was just a typo, but it was funny that you went, me old Eva. Thank you, Meganesia, for the donation. Much appreciated. It's very weird, isn't it? I mean, it's amazing that we're here. It's that's allowed on Twitter. That, of course, that's allowed. She's got a blue check mark. You know, that's just allowed. You lot are on fire, man. The comments are you're just all over everything. It's amazing. Right, we got over 100 here, so I will get into. Brandon wants to know what Afrikaner Dutch is. Well, weirdly, Afrikaner Dutch has a bit of the old in it, I think, if I remember rightly. Well, when the Dutch went to Africa, Meganesia will fill you in. This is Mark Dice, but it's sort of a weird collage. I'm sure he won't mind me using it. And it's called Brian Stelter Gets Owned by Everyone. And if you don't know, Brian Stelter is, you must know him by now. We've had him on this channel so many times. He's a very unpleasant, bullshitting piss fountain who works for CNN. I found out today watching this, he's 35. He looks like he could be my father. My father looked nothing like him. That's just a thing about his age and his attitude. He works for CNN and his numbers are terrible. Apparently he had something like 101. What was it? How do you even say that? I can see it in my head. 170,000 people watching his show on CNN last week. 170,000. That's awful. That's awful. What? With the corporation of CNN behind you. Terrible numbers. Anyway, check out. This is a great compilation of everyone ripping into the little shit. Now, just in case you don't know, because otherwise something won't make sense. Whenever Mark Dice uses him, Mark Dice he lip syncs him, but in a really high voice to humiliate him. And the thing is, everyone knows it. Everyone knows about it. Even Brian Stelter knows about it. It's just become a meme. So when anyone sees Brian Stelter, they think about him talking like this. And it's just worked a treat. Mark Dice's books are like bestsellers on Amazon. And Stelter's is about 7,000th down the list. A CNN anchor rhymes with. So check out this lovely little montage of him getting absolutely burnt across the board. It's beautiful. Let me know you've got audio.
I mean this with truly no disrespect, but I think you can border on being sort of quite a ridiculous figure.
Brian.
I'm sorry, people. I know I'm an interrupter automatic, but that for an opening gambit, his own guest, that's his guest on his show, you can border on being quite a ridiculous figure. And every time someone calls out Stelter, he goes like this. He's so insincere. No, listen, you need to listen to what he said, mate. He said you border on being quite a ridiculous figure. We've got to have that again. I won't keep pausing it because the truth is we could listen to them all time and time again. It just keeps getting better.
I mean this with truly no disrespect, but I think you can border on being sort of quite a ridiculous figure.
Brian Stelter, who is a leftist lapdog and not a serious journalist, I think anyone can discern that.
Stelter, you will fall. I mean, that is a horror movie.
Can we just look at him? Look at that. That's the stuff of nightmares, right? That, if you were, look, you don't even have to be a child if I was me now, I am me now, but if I was me now and I was in bed and the door opened and that was standing there, no weapons, fully dressed, and I saw that, I'd be horrified. I'd think I'd have, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble because this is evil. This is disgusting. This is so clever. It's like, horror filmmakers do their best to tap into things that, to sort of communal conscious archetypes, things that all humans will be repelled by, things that all humans will automatically have some kind of fear. And that's that. That is a terrifying image. And that'll be a press release, that photo. You can tell by the lighting and the makeup. His management and him gave that the green light. That's the best they could get him to look. And he looks like a horror film bad guy. It's just, he's going to eat your entrails, lock up your kids. It's just so terrifying. I'll take it back a bit so that Alex can get his full bit in.
You will fall. That is a horror movie cover. Seriously, he is scarier looking than It the Clown. Would you want your children anywhere near that psychopath? That is a psychopath right there.
And that is why he has gone for that. Because although that is horrific, in that photo the geezer's about 26. He looks so old. He's disgusting. Imagine him humping you. Imagine. Tito says his cologne is called Dark Triad. Great work, Tito. Insane clown. It's so awful. You lot are amazing. The Woker. He looks like the guy who stalked Bjork. I reckon he stalked plenty of women. Hello, Jays. You looking after it over there? Nice to see you, mate. It's shocking, isn't it? Anyway, here we go. A bit more.
Look at him. God.
By the way, this man is 35 years.
Right, this is the quartering. This is how funny this gets. The quartering is a gamer. He's got a gaming channel. And even he just despises Stelter. And he can't believe, that he's only 35. It's so funny how so many people from different areas despise this bloke. Look how shocked the quartering looks a bit rough around the edges, let's be fair. And yet, next to Stelter, the quartering is doing great. It's incredible. Listen to how shocked he is.
Look at him. God.
By the way, this man is 35 years old. 35. Now, if you ever have like a down day and you're thinking like, maybe I'm just not as desirable as I once was, look at Brian Stelter's face and tell yourself he is 35.
Now, that last guy there, this little Brian Stelter, he was the media analyst, guru, reporter at CNN. The president is using mind control. I'm not kidding, little Brian Stelter. Trump is using mind control.
CNN's Brian Stelter becomes a laughing stock. Every time I see him, I hear Mark Dice. That's all I can say.
Why did you block Mark Dice on Twitter?
Do you get mad at Mark Dice often?
Robert Mueller, what's that?
Do you get mad at Mark Dice often?
Mr. Stelter, we have a few more questions. Do you report any news that Jeff Zucker doesn't directly tell you to report?
I feel really bad for you. Why do you feel bad for me? We're journalists. Okay.
Brian Stelter on CNN. This guy's no ratings whatsoever. No ratings whatsoever. And look, you can make fun of my voice, but his, I'm like My voice is like Frank Sinatra compared to this guy.
You know, some right-wing websites out there. Oh, yeah, there are other out there, the right-wing websites. And I'm an objective reporter over here.
They criticize Nancy Pelosi, screams the eunuch. That's not allowed. They must be excluded.
And then just to make matters worse.
By the way, that Tucker Carlson always, frequently and regularly just drops that in. The eunuch. He just says it all the time.
For Stelter, his own show performed better last week when John Avalon filled in for him. So he had better ratings whenever he was on vacation for a show that literally has his name on it. Now look, is it mean in order to point this out? Yeah, it is. But guess what?
Remember when CNN was talking about podcasters, about how, you know, that there's people on YouTube that get more views than a CNN show.
That's right.
Well,
they suck.
Brian
They're terrible at their
Stelter's
job.
show keeps slipping and slipping and slipping in the ratings.
He's the worst. And you know
Same
what
with
they
Don
do?
Lemon. It's the same thing. Everybody knows that they're not real. They're not real humans.
This is the guy that pushed for me to be deplatformed. Now he wants Tucker Carlson taken off the air. He wants OAN taken off the air. He says it's dangerous. That such things exist.
It's the news media, it's the publishing houses, it's the Hollywood studios, it's our universities, and they are narrowing in a radical way what's acceptable to say and what isn't.
U.S. airlines are now considering weight limits for passengers. In other news, Brian Stelter, I hope you like trains.
You can't do without Donald Trump. You would be lost without Donald Trump.
Well, that is what he says.
Ted,
you know
just
that's
a
not
second.
true.
CNN's ratings would be in the toilet without Donald Trump.
You know, you are one of the reasons people can't stand the media.
If Hasbro really wanted a gender-neutral Mr. Potato Head so badly, they should just slap a picture of CNN's Brian Stelter on the cover of their next potato.
It's about decency, cries the eunuch. We must have decency.
Most of you probably don't know this, but
It
he
goes
actually
on.
has a weekend show on fake news CNN that not that many people watch, a little over 700,000. And tonight, by the way, got to give him credit. He is number 5,421, and that in terms of Amazon's bestseller list.
Most people don't want to turn to Brian Stelter to tell us what's real.
The media's response to Youngkin's victory is literally the reason that he won. What happened right after the election was you saw host after host after host saying, oh, this is a victory for white supremacy, right? White supremacy wins again. Racism wins again. When, you know, the lieutenant governor that Youngkin won with will be the first Black woman to hold that job. When Glenn Youngkin managed to flip majority Black districts, when he managed to get between 40 and 50% of Latino voters, are all of those people white supremacists?
So is CNN going to...
There you go. You get the idea. It's incredible. I mean, I reckon that video could have gone on for 30, 40 minutes. Imagine being him. And they've all got this coming. All of them. There's a load more of them. Did you see that fella? Oh, maybe I should have wrapped that one up. Hang on, let me find it. It's worth it. It's mind-blowing. So, you know the geezer? Oh, please tell me I watched it on my thing, my computer, not my phone. You know the geezer that held the Glock at Rittenhouse, who lied, then lied in court? Well, he, yep, I found it. It's on, what's his channel? The Liberal Hive Mind. Right, let me find it. It's mind-blowing right here. So check this out. This is from the Liberal Hive Mind. Where do we start it? Hang on. Right, check this out. This is from the Liberal Hive Mind. And no, we all know the fellow I'm talking about, right? I can never remember his name. It's something like Gates. This is the bloke Rittenhouse put his gun at. He put his hands up in the air. Rittenhouse dropped the rifle. There's no way. This isn't up for contention. It's just blatant. Rittenhouse, after he'd been hit around the head by a skateboard twice and had his head kicked by a jump kick man, another wife beater, previous crimes as long as your arm. He lifted his gun up. This bloke put his arms up. Rittenhouse lowers his gun. Then he puts his Glock to Rittenhouse's head, and then he gets his bicep blown out. You'll get the whole story here from the Liberal Hive Mind. Check it out. What's that, man? Come on, here we go.
Folks, so once again, CNN does what it does best. The other night, Anderson Cooper, 360.
So when I say they've all got it coming, Anderson Cooper's got it coming. Fucking Fredo Cuomo's got it coming. Don Lemon's got it coming. They've all got it coming. We're going in that direction. The midterms are going to fuck these people into space. And when that happens, when they realize that America has turned, the first people it's going to turn against is the bullshitting propaganda wing that's been screwing them and stuffing them for decades.
60 has Gage Grosskreutz on his show. The tweet reading, to me it seemed like a child being upset because they were caught, not upset because of what they had done wrong. Out of everything that Gage Grosskreutz said in this interview, pushing this whole Kyle was fake crying, he's just a crisis actor narrative that we've seen the left push over the last couple of days. But of course, most egregious of all, Gage Grosskreutz, who literally lied while giving his witness testimony right over here.
When you were standing 3 to 5 feet from him with your arms up in the air, he never fired, right?
Correct.
It wasn't until you pointed your gun at him, advanced on him with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him, that he fired, right?
Correct.
And on Good Morning America today, you said that you were absolutely not pointing your gun at Rittenhouse. Can you clarify that?
Yes,
Don't forget, this geezer asked for 10 million to be witness.
absolutely. First and foremost, that was a very tense situation, something that I've never been in before. It's like having never been shot before. I think it's important to note, though, that specifically during cross, and if there is a skilled attorney, they're able to present questions to help support their narrative.
I mean, bear that in mind. When you're facing cross, there are very skilled people that are very good at asking questions to support their narrative. Let's just remember what those questions were. Carl Rittenhouse didn't shoot you when you put your arms up, did he? Correct. It was only when you put your hands down and pointed your gun at him that he shot you. Correct. Yeah, I'm not sure you need to be a particularly skilled attorney to pull that off. It's ridiculous. And watch him continue lying.
That's their job. And with one of the exhibits that Attorney Sharafi had introduced, there's a photo of me with my gun pointed towards the defendant, either just after or right during. He had shot me in my right arm.
So initially,
yeah, but there's a video of the whole thing happening. Forget the fucking photo.
he says, I wasn't pointing my gun at him. He just shot me, and then gets further pressured, realizes he's on the stand, and what he says actually matters, and finally tells the truth and says that his gun was in fact pointed at Kyle before Kyle fired. Then follows up by going on Anderson Cooper's show, who gives him a platform to lie and change his factual statement that he in fact pointed the firearm. He fake surrendered, pointed it, and then his bicep was, quote, vaporized.
And don't think Anderson Cooper knows he's lying. This is why this is so disgusting. Anderson Cooper doesn't care about Carl Rittenhouse. Anderson Cooper doesn't care about justice. Anderson Cooper doesn't care about the truth. Anderson Cooper is a communist. He's a utopianist. He hates America. He's got this geezer on. This was rehearsed. This isn't a conversation. This is theater. This would have been scripted. They'd have given him a script. Look, when I say this, you say this. I say this, you say this. Yeah, you got it? Don't worry, we'll give you the money you want. It's all right. But this is what you have to say, okay? Look at Anderson Cooper's face. Look, that sort of faux, oh my God, this is terrible what they've done to you. I mean, all you did was chase him down a road and put your Glock at his head. Why are you being treated so bad? Fuck's sake.
Not to mention the days before, Gage Grosskreuz's friend also seemed to commit perjury as well. Mark Dice covered that part.
Someone else who took the stand but committed perjury, although he'll never get charged for it, is Gage Grosskreuz's friend and roommate. After visiting his friend in the hospital, the guy who pulled his gun on Kyle Rittenhouse and got shot in the arm, he posted on social media saying that Gage told him that he wishes that he would have shot Kyle Rittenhouse before Kyle shot him. But when he was asked about this post, he said this.
He didn't say that to you.
He never said that to me.
You just posted something about your friend, your roommate. That was a lie.
So just in case you don't know about this, and I can't imagine there's more than a third of a person in the chat that doesn't know it, after the incident, this bloke posted on Facebook that Gage Groithouse said, "I wish I'd have killed him." And then when being cross-examined, he said, "No, Gage didn't say that to me. I just said that he did because I was, I don't know, communist. I'm not sure."
I did. This post right here is you equating something that Mr. Grosskreutz said to you.
I lied. He never said that. Those words have never came out of his mouth.
And so it seems the leftist case in this scenario is built on a mountain of lies rather than a mountain of evidence.
There you go. No need to watch the rest of that. If you're not subscribed to Liberal Hive Mind, pretty good channel actually. It's got a bit of a dark synth at the beginning that I always skip over. But yeah, just it's the same. Anderson Cooper, Fredo Cuomo, Don Lemon, Brian Stelter, the lot of them. They've all got it coming because they're surplus to requirements now. They're obsolete. America's changed. America's changed and it requires changing. And it will. Of course it will. People aren't going to put up with what's going on over there. Not a chance. Not a chance. And they know who's causing it. The communist government. Anglo-Saxon, Hoyt for that. Carl showed incredible restraint. If that had of me, I'd have emptied at least a full clip. Well, Anglo, more liars. There's another communist news broadcaster that said, he said this on record, on television. He said that Carl Rittenhouse fired 60 bullets. 60. 2 entire magazines. I mean, that's not a misreading of evidence. That's not, oh, hang on, I thought I heard 60. It's an out-and-out lie. It's an out-and-out lie. Just make it worse. No, he went down there and went... I don't even know if an AR-15 can go on fully auto, can it? I don't know, but I don't know. But it's bullshit. Another one who's got it coming, Cenk Uygur. And this is why I really want... I want Carl Rittenhouse to get off because he's innocent. I want justice to be served. And I don't want him to go to prison. It was blatant self-defense. But on top of that, I want him to sue the fuck out of all these absolute fuckers. Cenk Uygur said he went out to shoot black people. He just went out, he got himself an assault rifle. What is an assault rifle? You can't buy an assault rifle in America. Hello, mate, do us an M16. This is absurd. He went out to shoot black people, did he? And your evidence for that is... No, it don't matter. They don't care about reality. They don't care about the truth. Because the only thing they've got in common with all the rest of them is the destruction of the United States of America. Thank you, Anglo. Okay, there you go. No, you can't own a fully automatic. I mean, you know, it's just absurd. It's just absurd. And they've all got it coming, and it will be glorious. I remember when what's his name, Kai Moros, in his speech. I mean, you know, I like Kai. We get on all right. I talk to him occasionally. But he says that when it all happens, when it kicks off and people of European ancestry wake up, there'll be stormtroopers running into universities, dragging professors off the stage and making them walk around their towns with their treasonous crimes on placards around their necks. I can't see it happening, but, you know, these fuckers, they have done so much damage to the world. I said it in this morning's show. In the Second World War, they were loading bombers up with more photographic equipment than they were bombs. That tells you all you need to know about propaganda and the damage it can do. These absolute liars. Joe Biden called Rittenhouse a racist. The president. Based on what? On what? On what grounds? And we all know that Biden ain't pulling his own strings. Someone told him to say that. Someone told him to say that. Absolute insanity. Yeah. Right, hang on, people. At this stage, I'm going to have a wee break. We'll be going an hour. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a minute. I'm always a little bit worried that that microphone might be able to pick up what goes on in the toilet because, you know, at my age, when the front door is open, the back door is smoking. Loads of people. Hello, David Satters. How are you? The far left are setting the stage for voters to justify their far right choice at the ballot box. Yeah, yeah. And you've now got pissed off. I got called that at school. I quite liked it. Run with it. It's yours. And as I already said, you know, there's no way anyone's going to set about fighting the communist government unless they sort out the election. And we've already got it happening in Florida. They're setting up an election sort of police force. And the rest of the country will do that. Of course, there's no point putting all that money and effort into a campaign if you know that at the end of the day there's going to be, oh, we found 25,000 votes. Where were they? In the photocopier. Oh, really? Absolutely ridiculous. So let me tell you, pisser. So let me tell you what happened with the psychology of swearing. All right. So after this morning's show, I've tried to swear less on my streams because some people watch it with their kids or their kids are around and, you know, they don't really want, their kids are sitting there playing with their toys and they got me. And that's not very nice. So I've tried to cut it down, and cutting it down means when I do swear, it has a little bit more impact. You know, if you overuse swear words, I watched a couple of motorbike videos today, and they could not stop swearing every other word. And I was like, this sounds a bit weird. Do they really talk like that? And I have met people who talk like that, and I've got nothing against them, but they might not have their kids playing in the same room as they're watching this. And I thought, I'm gonna look into the psychology of swearing, right? I'm gonna look into it and build a load of stuff up. I knew I had a busy day, but I put aside 45 minutes and I typed in psychology of swearing, psychology of cursing, because Americans call it cursing. Article, right, got that, another article, got that, another article, video, got that, video, got that. Oh, Jordan Peterson's talked about it, got that. Read all the articles, kind of interesting, but I couldn't find anything about the content of swearing. Nothing. Now, if any of you can, feel free to send it to me. Maybe I should have given myself more than 45 minutes, but you can do a fair amount of searching in 45 minutes. I found people saying it's actually good for you to swear. I found things saying that people who swear a lot tend to be alphas and A-type personalities. I found that people who swear a lot tend to be more extrovert. People who swear a lot tend to be more in touch with their emotions. I found that white people swear a lot because of the taboo of swearing, and it shows them as people who make their own minds up. I found all these different semi-interesting things, but nothing. Literally nil, nada nish note about the content. Because for me, the interesting thing about swearing is the inherent contradictions of it all. The way the words don't mean anything. Like, let's take a classic. It's certainly an English classic. Fucking hell, right? Let me know in the chat. When you say that or when you hear it, are you hearing fucking as in to fuck, hell, or are you hearing fuck in hell? Is it fucking hell, or fuck in hell? What are you hearing there? Nice one, Mrs. Me in it. The stupid is driving me kin mental at the mo. Had a week of it. Hope your gift is on its way, but in the meantime, here's a lady. It's on its way. It's in the post. It may be between 7 and 10 days. I'll let you know. Thank you, Mrs. Me in it. Yeah, there's a lot of stupid about, but stay strong. The turnaround is on. Trust me. And I mean it. Trust me. The midterms is a long wait, but it's going to be awesome. Thank you, Mrs. Meanit. The grift has been appalling tonight. So what are people saying? What are people saying? So a lot of ing. Ma says ing. Flammadiddler, it's all one word. Fucking. I mean, so that sort of doesn't mean, that means nothing, does it? Fucking hell. It means nothing. It's very hard to get a meaning out of that. What? Hell is fucking? Or yeah, here's an example. So imagine there was a swimming pool, but the problem with the swimming pool was there were sharks in it. And someone said, should we go to that swimming pool? And you'd go, no, man, that's swimming hell. Do you understand what I'm saying? You'd say, no, it's swimming, but it's swimming hell. But fucking hell, is that like a prostitute with razor blades inside her? Oh, I'm going to go and see that brass. No, I don't, man. That's fucking hell. Did you see what I'm saying? It's a strange one. And it works like this with all of them. And I can't find anything about this. Here's a classic one. The pejorative calling someone a wanker, right? We've all done it. You wanker. Oh, he's a wanker. Who isn't a wanker? I mean, I don't know about ladies. I mean, in my experience, I'll probably say it's about 50-50 women who masturbate. Asian women don't tend to masturbate, in my experience. But I'm kind of guessing, but about 50% of the women I know have said to me they do. But every single bloke I've ever met wanks. Every single bloke I've ever met. You don't have to ask them. You know they wank. You know, you don't. I've never said to any of my. Let's go back to when we were teenagers. No one says, "Oh, do you wank?" No. Everyone knows that every bloke wanks. And when you're a teenager, it's fucking 5 or 6 times a day. I just never stopped. Other people's houses. If it came on to me, I was going to do it. And yet, you know, we get angry with people. You know, you can have a fight in a pub. You wanker. Yeah, I do wank. It's bizarre. And the reason I'm really into this is because it's a very peculiar twist on what language is actually meant to do. Why would, and I'm asking you, this isn't rhetorical, why would you call someone a wanker? Is that a bad thing? Is that knowing that you are as well? It's a peculiar thing. And then of course, hang on, I want to see what your responses are so far. Beef Bay says that fuck comes from the Gaelic feck, to throw away firmly. Well, the etymology, and that is interesting, but no one means it like that, do they? People mean it as in fuck, because people, you know, if you're banging some nails into a bit of wood and you hit your finger, you're not saying feck, you're saying fuck. And to prove my point, you'll occasionally say shit. Why? Why say poo? Why poo? Shit. And then it's weird because although they have no real meaning, although nothing can have no meaning, why would you say shit? Oh, I've missed my fucking bus. Fucking bus? What? Oh, I've missed my fucking bus. Shit. Where? Why? And then I can't find anything about this. It just seems really peculiar. No, I get that, Sam. And I get why many people have different reasons, but nonetheless, it's still peculiar. Hello, Doc Shelley. Good to see you. Mousecat says, fuck has so many different feels and meanings. Yeah, this is a weird thing. So we use it to express like anger. Fuck. And yet, in the next sentence, oh, you know that bird so-and-so? Yeah. Oh, don't tell me. Yeah, I fucked her. Brilliant. And so that's a good thing. I had a wicked fuck last night. It's good. Fucking's good. We like it. We need to do it. If we don't do it, we die out. But yeah, fuck. When you hurt your hand. Shit. Shit, though. Poo. Piss as well. Piss. It's really peculiar. Really peculiar. My mother used to swear in German. I've told you before. Their best man was German, so we had quite a German influence on my childhood. Had quite a German influence. My mum's got loads of those Steiners. What are they called? Not Steiners. That's a weird school for kids. You know when you've been Steinered. Anyone here go to a Steiner school? So it's so weird. Doug Stanhope says at his age, jerking off is just medically necessary, like draining a cyst. Ouch. I mean, I'm certainly not at it like I used to be. And ironically, it's a relief. See, it don't work, does it, Broken Silence? You frigger. Go F yourself, yeah. And on top of all that, toss pot, another one. Yeah, but toss pot kind of makes sense because if you're a jar of spunk, that's quite negative. But a wanker, self-hating, yeah, there might be something in that. There might be something like that. My hand always puts out. Anglo-Saxon, I nearly pulled the ear off it. Yeah. Come back here as it flies across the room. Exactly. Nice one, Anglo, on the donation. Appreciated. Well, thank you, Anglo. I was just about to get to that one, Shane. Motherfucker. I mean, it's really weird. Bitch. A bitch is a female dog. Do people get called mares? Female horse? Bitch, motherfucker. And then putting them together. I mean, shit cunt has got to be one of the worst things anyone could be called. And picture it. It's peculiar. Dillich is having one now. And yet, and this is why, again, in what I did read, they were saying that groups of friends who all swear, there is a, what do you call it? There's a correlation between groups of friends who frequently swear and the closeness of that friendship. That is something I did read that shone a bit of light onto the strangeness of it. Like, you know, when you see strangers get together, swearing's kind of still a taboo. You know, if it's a business meeting or you don't know the person so much, you don't turn up and go, oh, fuck me, I've had a shitty day. No, you don't. But if it's your best mate, oh, fucking hell, I've had a shit day. It's been an absolute cunt of a morning. But you wouldn't do that to someone you didn't know very well because you haven't established your boundaries. Now, here's the extra bit that complicates it even more. Americans call it cursing. We know what a curse is. Are you cursing? Oh, I don't know. I was calling someone a wanker because I don't like him, but I wank myself. So that's weird. So I really didn't manage to get where I wanted to go with this because I couldn't find anything on it. Za, Meganizia. One last question, then I'm going into the good night. What's everybody's rap name? I'm not sure people here have a rap name. Mine's Chris. Chris the rapper. I don't want to put any effort into it because I don't like rap. Chris. My rap name is Chris Dangerfield. If anyone wants to tell Meganesia Shan their rap name, now's the time. Shit, piss, and fuck are actually Anglo-Saxon. Thanks for that super chat. According to my history teacher, Eccles, at school. Yeah, right. Well, you know, it's still strange, though, isn't it? I always thought they were shouting banker. Well, Bob Monkhouse's joke, isn't it? It's peculiar. Everywhere I go, people seem to know where I'm from. They shout, Ken, everywhere I am. Swearing is expletive, not literal. Yeah, but something being expletive doesn't stop it from being literal. If you call someone an arsehole, that's expletive, but do you mean figurative? Is expletive not literal? Yeah, I get that. That's the point I'm making, Cheryl, but why? That's what I want to know. Why? Why is that the case? Hello, Plastic African. Been a while. Yeah, there's another one. But the weird one about bugger, I mean, how many people here had the old woman down the street call them a little bugger when they were young? Go on, get up your own end, you little bugger. And they meant it nicely. My nan used to call me it. You're a little bugger, you are. I'm not actually. I'm not sodomy. Well, Andrew, in some of the stuff I read, they were actually saying that people who swear tend to have higher IQs, which was a little bit shocking. But a higher IQ doesn't necessarily mean you've got a higher vocab. We have a need to inject an emotional intensity into the exclamation. Certainly. But you can inject emotional intensity into an exclamation without using words that mean things that don't fit the scenario. You know, like fucking hell. Doesn't mean anything. It's very strange, isn't it? Very, very strange. I'll tell you a little story. It's hardly a story that, you know, don't get comfortable. But hang on a minute. I think I might miss the super chat. Mouse Cat, nice one. The knob on the end is to stop one's hand from slipping. I've never heard that before. I quite like it though. Thank you, Mousecat, for the donation. Manimoo does use the word mare. But do you use it as in a shortened form of nightmare? Oh, this is a fucking mare. Or do you refer to people as it? You mare. Oi, Pags, Bally G once was given a guitar lesson. And he was a bit pissed because he had an alcoholic phase, really. Bally G discovered this booze, and it was like a ready-made Bucks Fizz. And he drank a couple of bottles of it a day for about 3 months. He had like a weird. This is when we were at art school, and everywhere. I can't remember what it was called. I wish he was here. But anyway, he was shit-faced, and he was a guitar teacher in his spare time. Like, and when you're at art school, you've got plenty of spare time. And he was given a guitar lesson once, and he just went, yeah, just practice that a minute. Went out for a wee, and while he was in the toilet, thought, oh, man, oh, hang on, I'm mixing up two stories. So when he was doing that, he just had a wank and then dried his hands and thought, oh, no, I can't believe what I just done. Then went in and finished the lesson And the kid was like, you've been a while. He's like, sorry. But another night, he got home on his bottle of Bucks Fizz, thought, I'll get a dirty mag out, got his porn mag out, and was sort of had it sort of down in between his legs while he was all drunk going. And just kind of passed out, thought nothing about it. Well, literally, because he passed out. But when he woke up, the porn mag was just red with claret, stuck to him, and he realised that he'd cut, you know, that bit under your tongue, your banjo string that you've got keeping your glands turned under. He'd sliced that on a page of the porn mag. Skinsgar says sister's cunt was pretty normal in Italy. Well, I've heard there's a lot of that one, isn't it? Like I've heard mother's cunt as well. You mother's cunt. But you know, mothers have cunts. Is that necessarily a bad thing? And also the difference in intensity. Like C-bombs are the biggest, aren't they? Cunt is considered the worst swear word. I'm right about that, yeah? And yet pussy, fanny, vagina, quim, you know, you could probably get away with them on daytime telly these days. But you drop a C-bomb, you're out of work. It's a peculiar little situation. And I just thought when I looked into all this, I thought this would be what I'd found, the psychology of swearing. And I didn't really look into that bit, but cursing people, cursing. Yeah, it's a classic, isn't it? Ah, bollocks. Why? My missus says it. My missus says bollocks now because she's heard me say it so many times. I don't know if she knows what it is. And the funny thing is, my missus swears a lot because she's heard me say it. And I'll Skype my mum, and my mum and my girlfriend comes over because she wants to say hello to my mum. And my mum will say, "Oh, hello, how are you?" My missus will go, "Hello, yeah, I'm fine. How are you?" And then my missus knocks something over, and she'll go, "Oh, fucking hell!" And I go, I mean, my mum's heard me swear all the time, but she won't. I don't think she'll approve of my missus saying "fucking hell" just out of the blue for knocking over like my lovely little object of balance. It stays there. Isn't it weird? And how about this then? When your school was enriched, like when we were kids, there was like 5 Indian kids at our school. What's the first thing you do? Learn how to say puddu. Learn how to say all the swear words. That's what you... Glands Christian Anderson. Carl says most are sexual themed or religious. Carl, give me some examples of religious swear words. I don't know what you're talking about there. Exactly, that's a great one. Oh, bugger me. I can't imagine too many people would necessarily, you know, it's really out of context. And also what you're saying is, and here's the irony, I fucked up. I fucked up. What does that mean? I fucked up. You fucked up. As opposed to fuck down? Well, guess what? I fucked down. Wicked. Nah, you fucked up. There's that old joke, isn't it? Oh, I'm so pissed off. Well, it's better than being pissed on. Oh, I know what you mean, Carl. Like when you say Jesus and you're sort of, Christ. Okay, that's interesting. I haven't thought of that. That's what a weird little group of, but they're not called expletives, but people don't like it. Don't use the Lord's name in vain. Grego says the term profane originates from classical Latin profanus. Oh dear. Literally before or outside the temple, meaning outside. And fanum Fanum meaning temple. So profanus, I'll say, means outside the temple, which is interesting. How wonderful that there was a culture once where there was a space that was actually considered outside the temple, because they also had an outside of politics as well. They had the polis, didn't they? And I think it's called the koinion or something, which refers to the domestic realm, which was separated from politics in the Greek city-state. Mrs. Me in it says bugger is a soil. Is it? I know sod is, but is bugger a soil? Can anyone confirm that? Do people say, oh, Buddha? I've never heard that. Git is really weird. What does git mean? What's the etymology of git? Nincompoop. Yeah, you see, different world, different. That was yeah. That when she says go on, you little bugger. Why would an old woman say bugger? Does it, Mrs. Me in it? Does it really cut? Is bugger a soil? Are you sure about this one? I'm not saying you're wrong. No way did old ladies use that one. That's the worst of all of them. Yeah, I'm not so sure about bugger being a soil. I'm not saying you're wrong. But I don't know. Manny Moo says the higher IQ thing is apparently spurious. Okay. Yeah. Well, weirdly, I used to say twat as a kid all the time. And twat means fanny, right? And I remember once I called my brother a twat. And suddenly it went all wrong. I used to all the time go, you twat, you absolute twat. And then once I went, you twat. And my mum looked at my dad and she went, that's your fault, that is. And I thought, hang on, what have I done? What weird little enclosure have I stepped out of by going from twat to twat? Are they both vaginas? On a scale of 1 to 100, people, on a scale of 1 to 100, how much do you swear? How much do you think you swear? With 100 being loads and 1 being nothing. I reckon I swear. I reckon I'm in about the 70s. I reckon I'm going to say 75. I mean, I know people in sunny Dartford who are literally like, you all right, cunt? And you're like, yeah, not bad. What you been fucking doing then? No, I had a fucking nightmare last night. Some cunt come at me, didn't he? I thought, you fucking wanker, I'll have to knock this shit cunt out. And I said, and I'm just there going, any other words to describe what's happening? Although weirdly, I know what you're talking about. Strontium Dog said Jordan Peterson called him a cunt. Yeah, well, that you know. Yeah, that was a one when we were kids. My neighbour used to call me a toe rag. That's not nice, is it? Go on, you toe rag. Let's see. Let me just check my entropies. All good over there, by which I mean terrible. Where are we? Hour and 35. I ain't going to go for too long tonight, people, because taking a break yesterday was good. A hair in the gate said, there's that line in The Exorcist. Do you know what she did, your cunting daughter? Yeah, I remember it, and it's not nice. I can see it now. I remember being more appalled by the language than the image, actually. Cunting has arguably less meaning than fucking, but is more shocking. Yeah, I think so. I've just remembered a scene from a film. I want to see your numbers. Manny Moo, swearing makes you hard. Yeah. Thank you, John. Couldn't beat a danger wank back in the day. Oh, yeah, I had a couple. Oh, they weren't my thing, though. It was just a question of having to. I didn't deliberately put myself at risk. No. Thank you, Meganesia. Hello, Loki. Since it's the remembrance, I swear like a Germania who's lost his mum, bum, and hun. That's quite good. Nice one, Meganesia. Minge. Vagabond. That's a strange one, you vagabond. Oh, weirdly, though, at my school, tramp was an insult. You fucking tramp. Did you get it repaired, though, or have you got an awkward shaped glands? Did you free the glands? Albert says, the knob on the end is there to stop you being able to pull out when the husband arrives home early. Sounds like a joke, but is actually an evolutionary reality. That would explain why my one looks like a baby's arm holding an apple. I don't think I got the numbers. Maybe it was just me. Or maybe I've got a long way to go. Gash. Yeah, gash is a weird one. Some people deserve the C-bum. Bum. That was a Freudian slip. Fuck your mother's smelly cunt in Cantonese is used by most Hong Kong people for an array of things. It's not always offensive. Well, this is it. It's not always offensive when we do it, is it? You know, shit. Or your mate comes in and he goes, oh, guess what? I just won a monkey on the dogs. And you go, you fucker. Why? You fucker. Well, I do occasionally have intercourse, yes. But let's get back to the monkey on the dogs. Carl says, swearing is like Tourette's, a sudden release of stress or anger, and is strangely satisfying. Right, so that brings us on to an interesting point, because you know what? I should maybe talk to Professor Dutton. He wanted me to go on his show a while back, but I said I wasn't doing it anymore. I'll hit up old Teddy Dutton and see if he can come on and shed some light on this. Because here's the thing with a taboo, and as I opened this conversation with, I said I've tried to swear less so that when I do say it, it carries more gravitas. And if you swear all the time, you lose that. And yes, there is. I think she's trans, isn't she, Gash? I see her not do very well the other day against a boy who mustn't have felt great. When I was a kid, my mum did not let us swear. I can remember my brother grasped me up to my mum one day for saying ain't. Ain't. Because that was considered a bit rough around the edges. My brother also, I'm talking about when we were like 4 or 5, right? Not like 15. My brother also grasped up my mum once for me saying hate. So you can imagine, you know, my mum swears all the time, don't get me wrong. But when we were that young, she was obviously trying to not make us turn out like her. But I remember going round a mate's house when I was about 9 or 10. I remember the kid. His dad killed himself. Yeah, that happened. His mum ran away with a copper. Yeah, that happened. I went round his house and I was about 9 or 10, and we were playing like, well, it wouldn't have been computer games, just games, maybe like a board game or something. And he was like, oh, fuck it. And his dad was just at the table. And I remember going, and he went to me, he said, it's only swearing. He was 9. It's only swearing. And it really stuck with me, you know, because it was a massive difference from what I was used to. I'll tell you what, if I was age 9 in my house and I said, fuck, oh my days, that's it. To your room, you ain't going out for 2 weeks. No way would my mum have put up with that. Give me a 1 in the chat one in the chat if you were allowed to swear when you were a kid. And I mean kid. I mean like, 8, 9, not teenagers. Oh, here's those numbers. Good Lord, you lot are writing a lot. So they're quite high. They all tend to be. There's a couple of fucking hell. There's some massive ones. Loads. Well, they're all quite high. They all seem to be, most of them. Tio doesn't swear at all. Visionary companion, next to nothing. ST911 called a colleague a bitch today. Friendly or not friendly? All right, let me zoom down. We'll do Rags. Let me zoom down. I just want to see what people are allowed to do as kids. Right. What did I say? What I said, one in the chat if your parents let you swear when you were kids. Yeah, that's what it was like at my place. Yes, Steve. Yep, there you go. Yeah, I only swear in front of my mum if it's accidental. I'll never choose to. It's just not right. It feels weird. So you had your parents were all right with that. Interesting, because I only knew this one kid, and they weren't. If anything, the family that I knew, and this is kind of interesting, they were actually slightly a bit better off than the rest of us. We were a real working class community, but his family was a little bit more middle class, essentially, and I suppose that's got a lot to do with it. Well, it's because everyone's so busy. You're great. The scrubs are brilliant. Absolutely. I was a teen when I started swearing in the house. Sean says I didn't swear till... I think I was probably about 40 or 35, something like that, before I would swear in front of my mum. That's not quite the same thing, but it's still a relevant point. No, exactly. Our pal still gets a clip round the ear. Well, I will say that it never lasted. Yeah, because I'd do exactly that, low-key. If I was grounded, well, all right, we'll see how well that goes for you. And in about a day, they'd be like, go on, get out. Loki says, my parents would have never punished me by keeping me inside the house. That would have been worse on them. Yeah, it didn't work out. What's the name who gave himself 100 for swearing, said he wouldn't have tried. How interesting is that? So you went from like a complete, censorship of it. I know that's probably the worst, bad choice of words. To being 100. How old were you? Please don't say last week. Anglo says, I asked my old man if I could fart in his car. He went mental. I weren't even allowed to say fart as a kid. It was Trump or nothing. Arklow Rock still doesn't swear in front of his mother. They weren't all right with it, but they couldn't stop me. How interesting. I mean, all right, okay. One more question. One more. Well, I can't say. Yeah, it was a Trump. It was. You couldn't say fart. That was considered a bit rude. So we are. This is an interesting one. Hang on. Let me just. I'm gonna just refresh Entropy because Entropy also shows super chats, but it's failed to show some recently. So I'm just gonna refresh it. I don't want to get in trouble again. Okay, we seem okay. Hang on, what was that last one? Meganesia. Yeah, right, we're good. Right, what was the one I was going to ask next? Okay, so I suppose this is where this has all been leading to, not intentionally. Yep, yes, John, we had that as well. Blowing off, girlfriend's calling me second time. Sorry, people. Hello, my little chicky chicken.
Hello.
I'm making a video, love. Are you all right? Are you still asleep? All right, darling. Listen, when I'm finished, I'll send you 3 here.
Hello.
I don't know. I really don't know. Not long. Not long. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. All right? All right. Ta-da. Love you. Bye, darling. Bye.
But I made
Are they really? Is that? Are you trolling? Please don't be trolling. That's not fun at all. Where's my Ricator law? No, they're not. It's rubbish. Okay. Shane Ross has said it as well. It doesn't look like it. I'm on Ricator law and they're not back. Unless they're back and they're... I mean, everyone does this to Ricator every day. They're back. And I don't think they are. I've got it on here. Yeah, we used to say blown off. Right, so here's the question I want to ask you people. Steve Cray says, I absolutely love this channel and community and no, I ain't been drinking. Me too. Love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, I know it's... we used to say, who's most delight-filled? Good call. Rifting? What, for a Trump? So, okay, so I never... no, yeah, you're right. She knows I'm streaming now. She already rung once, but I ditched it. Yeah, I know it's nonsense. I've got it on. I've got it here live. I mean, maybe... Oh, hang on. Let's have a look. Let's see what happens.
Mention, I was like, I'm pretty.
Let me know you've got audio. Thank you, Richard.
This case,
apologies. I was a bit behind. Oh, come on. Not now.
That kind of political. This case.
Can you hear it?
It is.
I have interacted on Twitter the most I ever have, probably ever. I probably look at Twitter once a month or every other month, and because of this, you know.
Oh, this isn't good. Why is it doing that?
Because we've been messaging each other, I've consumed more Twitter in my life.
I don't know why it's... Oh, good. No, don't tell me.
That is an echo chamber. I can see why everybody hates
That's the call.
If you look at just Twitter, it's a bunch of people just circle jerking each other.
If you can hear the Ricator law people talking...
I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you can't just jump in and take a big leap in helping at Twitter. You gotta work up.
Thank you, Wolfie. Do we think they are now giving the verdict?
So the question is, what are we in court for now?
Exactly my question.
Do we have
They
motion
might be
practice?
talking about that juror. Or the guy that was trying to take photos of the jury. Because apparently
don't tell me someone's been taking photos of the jury. This is way dull. If it is.
no, they were apparently following the bus.
People, while it's buffering, this is the bloke you want to check out. Lawofselfdefense.com. He's brilliant. This fella here. His website's called lawofselfdefense.com. Brilliant.
Recently,
all he does is self-defense cases. 10 years experience.
To develop my ADD. And my ADD is better than ever now. So, and my motivation there has been Attorney Tom.
I'm just going to see if I've got any other windows open because I don't know why that's buffering. It shouldn't be.
I can't do TikTok.
Oh, come on. What's going on here? What do I do about this? Give me a second. It might, I haven't got the little thing up saying it's going slower. I don't know why this is. I doubt they'll be giving close the pool. Hello, Melvin. How are you, mate? This is peculiar. I've got nothing else open apart from StreamYard, Entropy, and that. And every other clip has been fine.
Challenged.
thank
And I
you.
know it's authority because it was filed in the Toddy Westbrook defamation suit, and the court was asked to take.
Oh, no. Maybe I'll find it. It's quite good having their.
Judicial notice.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Emily.
You're welcome.
Rittenhouse. Oh, my mic is here.
If this has been about someone photographing the jury, that's so dull.
Hey, Viva.
Tom, nice to meet you. I think
questions. There's been conversation around this morning. We had asked the media coordinator to determine possible whereabouts of certain persons.
That's vague.
Because we received a report this morning from the Kenosha Police Department that last evening. Well,
Yes, good idea. Good idea.
Background here. The jury in this case is being transported from a different location
How do I
in a
hide it?
bus with the windows covered so that they don't have to look at aren't exposed to any signs by one side or another or interest in the case. And
Thank you. That seems to be
I'm gonna
better.
call it a sealed bus. And that's been done every day. And then they're brought here to this building. And last evening, a person who identified himself as James G. Morrison and who claimed that he was a producer with NBC News,
Wow.
employed
That one.
for MSNBC.
Yeah, whoever told me to close the chat was great.
Supervision of a person. What's going on? Oh, okay. Under the supervision of someone named Irene Bayan in
So
New York.
MSNBC, look at that.
MSNBC.
Fuck me.
Police, when they stopped him because he was following at a distance of about a block and went through a red light, pulled him over and inquired of him what was going on, and he gave that information and stated that he had been instructed by Ms. Bayan.
Arrest her. That's awful.
Follow the jury bus. The matter is on further investigation
Good.
at this point. And the media has asked questions about it. That's the latest.
Why would MSNBC, just trying to
and
dox
was ticketed for,
the fucking jury?
violating a traffic control signal. He's not here today, from what I'm told. And I have instructed that no one from MSNBC News will be permitted in this building for the duration of this trial. This is a very serious matter, and I don't know what the ultimate truth of it is, but absolutely it would go without much thinking that someone who is following the jury bus, that is it's extremely serious matter, and will be referred to the
They're absolute scum.
authorities for
Of this prosecutor's office.
further action.
wreaking havoc.
You know what, though? What he said was,
"That's it.
That's it."
Yeah, apparently that's it. But
Ah.
that, we're going to try to get to the truth of the matter. But he said the person was pulled over and said they were told by their supervisor to follow the jury bus. I don't know what else you need to get to the truth of the matter. It seems like we have all of the facts.
Well,
They ran a red
purportedly
light following the jury bus.
MSNBC was denying that anybody worked for them. So apparently that may be the truth of the matter. Was he misrepresenting who he worked for? Or is
Oh.
MSNBC running for cover and being like, what? We don't know who that is.
What they've disavowed on
You know what we
knowledge,
need?
like this is freaking Mission
We're gonna-
Impossible.
You
will
know
be
we need
disavowed.
social media. Come on, Irene. Get down here and
Twitter,
testify.
you know the name.
That name is getting, I'm sure that name is getting Googled right now because, I mean, what's the likelihood?
There's nothing happening there, people. Oh, what the fuck is that? Invite me dead. Well, yeah, no, without a doubt, Willow, that's awful. They should that should be fully investigated, and if that is MSNBC, they should be punished, and not punished financially because they've got billions. Someone should get locked up, without a doubt. Is it possible this is going to drag out for days? Well, all I've learned from watching it and listening to that crowd, and look, today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there's 9 professionals there. And all I've learned is they did file for a mistrial with prejudice. Binger has broken the rules on several occasions. He's withheld evidence. He contravened Carl Rittenhouse's Fifth Amendment rights twice. So that is sitting there. Then they put a motion for mistrial without prejudice, which means they have to do the whole thing again. And on both times, the judge has said he's kind of given it like a sort of a double jeopardy thing. So if the jury come in and say innocent of all charges, they don't have to worry about all that mistrial or whether it's with prejudice or not. If they come in with guilty, there is the opportunity for the judge to then say, well, thanks for your work, but this is a mistrial. We've got to do it all again. And there's a fraction of a chance that he can say, thanks for all your work, but mistrial with prejudice because of what Binger done. According to these blokes, this is what I've heard from them. He'd rather them come back and say guilty of all charges than deal with all that sort of stuff. But, you know, Binger would love to try this case again. They'd absolutely love to. Loads of money from the government, you know, state prosecutor. And where are they going to get a jury from now? And it's even crazy. I think this jury should have been kept in a hotel with no phones or anything. They get sent home. Don't talk about the case. Don't look at the media. Come on, that's just ridiculous. Would anyone here not? You'd get home and you'll be like, straight on the computer, what are they saying? How much is my life in danger? It's peculiar. Listen, I haven't got much else to say tonight. Do you want to hear a bit of what these lawyers are saying? We could sit and watch that for a bit if you're up for it. Give me a 1 in the chat if you want to hear what they've got to say about things for a few, like 15, 20 minutes or something. Let me know if you want to do that. Okay, sweet. All right, well, listen to what they've got to say then. In a minute, they'll put. Oh, you're not watching it. Sorry, just me. In a minute, they'll spread their faces across the screen. I think he's probably forgotten.
No. True. And usually that your Ray Donovan types have those kind of backstories ready to roll.
See you later, Flammadiddler. Take care, mate.
They do social engineering to get to things they shouldn't be getting to. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I think so, Skin Scar, and not allowed access to media or internet.
The jury intimidation and jury tampering is so dark. Like, this jury's all.
The right to defend yourself and your community are on trial. Yeah, I agree. I think what's actually on trial here is patriotism versus communism.
I'm stammering over my words.
Nice one, Anglo. Appreciate it.
As to what we think the current strategy is for the defense, are they waiting for a verdict, and then if there's a conviction, Are they going to ask for a mistrial at this point, or have they already asked for a mistrial? I mean, I'm sorry.
They've asked for a mistrial, both with prejudice and without.
Right, that's what I just said. There's 2 motions for mistrial, one with prejudice and one without. So regardless what the jury say, the judge has got the option to mistrial. But mistrial with prejudice means Kyle walks. Thank you, Anglo-Saxon.
They're the community that they're eager to prove. Yes, they're like the Upper West Side that Wolf describes in the electric Kool-Aid test. About Leonard Bernstein holding his a little party for the Black Panthers, and then their solution to black service was white.
Wait, hold on a second. Before what the heck is Attorney Tom doing upstairs?
I feel like I'm Alice in the Brady Bunch. I'm in the middle. I got
what's the baseball bat about, man?
I have baseball bats. I have golf clubs. I'm at my law firm right now. So
right.
These are all pretty good, though. This has been a really good thing for Rekieta Law. It's been really good listening to these people. They've all got years of experience, and they've been able to really, you watch this stuff on your own, you just don't know what's happening. But having experts tell you has been really, really helpful. And I think the legal process needs more of this, more transparency, and less bullshit.
Attorney Tom's client intake process at this point?
Nice one, Skin Scar. Appreciate it, mate.
I got
Very
7
kind.
people down the hall.
He's like, I'll fight for you, and I'll show you how I'll fight for you with a bat.
I just want
mentor.
I wanted to
swing a
follow
golf
up
club
here
around
on
like
what,
a ninja.
I wanted to follow up here on what Robert was saying, and also what Viva was speculating about what's going to happen going forward with respect to them turning tables. So that's correct. Andrew Branca, when he was on my channel last night, he did mention what Robert said, and we also follow up with the following point that I think is undeniable to all of us, that the longer this goes, the more likely it is that you think that Kyle's not going to get an acquittal, because a 4-hour verdict almost certainly would have been an acquittal. The longer we go, the less likely he's going to be getting an acquittal, which is why Kyle could be getting antsy about the fact that, look, yesterday's 2 days, today we're on day 3. How much longer before we worry that that whoever is the holdout here might turn towards conviction? So maybe let's start all over with a mistrial, and that'll be better. I will point this out, though. If the personality, think about the personality of someone who leaps to the front and says, I want to be the foreman, that tends to be a Karen type. If a Karen is sitting there in the jury, they're not going to sit in the background and say, oh, okay, let me let some other person. No, they're going to step up and say, hey, I think that I'm in a good position. I understand a lot about this case and how to run things, and I'll be foreman. And so if he thinks that the next time that he goes, if he does have a mistrial without prejudice, has to have a new trial, that the next time, if there's any Karens there, they're likely to try and grab that foreman role. So unfortunately,
I think it is bad for Rittenhouse that they've been deliberating for 3 days. Who thinks there's going to be a hung jury?
We see that Robert's so spot on that you must have great jury selection to make sure that you can't get people like that in there, because they're likely to be the holdup. And round 2, God forbid, if he ends up having to go through that whole thing.
Yep. And especially if you enhance that.
Nice one, Deadbeat Chess.
Well, I was
Britney Spears is an anagram of Presbyterian.
On our second retrial that ended up being a third retrial.
Cheers, mate.
Murder of a witness case. And they were unwavering, and it didn't matter what anyone else on that jury said.
It's a shame that the defense lawyer's gone, because he was absolutely clued up on this stuff.
So that they wouldn't come to court and testify. Those are the convictions that you want. But there were others who had other biases about the prosecution that wanted to compromise the verdict, and they wouldn't compromise for a lower charge than the special circumstances murder. But that is, when you look at the type, it was 2 middle-aged white women from Brentwood in Los Angeles, very wealthy area. Sounds very similar to what you're talking about, Barnes. And they were completely unmovable. And the more that the jury kind of pushed back on them, the more they were unmovable. And so that ended up being like a week and a half before it hung. So it wouldn't surprise me. However, I think a hang in that circumstance is better than a compromised verdict. If you have people who are pushing for guilt, I think the hang is preferable to a compromise. in this case.
Yeah, and I
totally
and
agree
I think
with that.
that's I think that's why it may be coming from Kyle to shift to a mistrial without just get a mistrial period. I'm not going to gamble anymore on the jury that these guys selected. And when you add to that, particularly if they're seeing what I predicted, then it would enhance this response, because my biggest concern was someone that was from the professional class, older woman from the professional class who has Yankee or Scandinavian ancestry, because that group is used to culturally dominating Kenosha, even though politically they shouldn't.
How interesting is that?
Down the other parts on Kenosha. So if Kyle had a different last name, they would see him differently, even with the politics of the case. It's that kind of dynamic, long history of it. You're talking a century plus of history of it. I mean, the political infighting between these groups has been ruthless.
Wow, didn't know about that.
Who feels entitled to that position of power, and you put an entitled Karen with the ancestry and political and social standing for that to become the foreperson, then you get what it would logically explain exactly what we're witnessing now, including Kyle hitting an emergency button saying it's time to opt out of this, and I think they should have raised, if that's what Kyle wants, they should be making every motion for mistrial. Say, Judge, now we got jurors being.
And don't forget, there's also an appeal. There's also always the option for an appeal.
Right outside where the jury can hear them screaming, "You better quit!"
And he has the money as well.
Got shut down today, so parents were told their children need to stay home for remote learning because the violence is coming unless the Kyle verdict goes, Rittenhouse verdict goes a certain way. Plus, you have the National Guard. There's no way
if any
we
of those
can get
jurors
an
have school
impartial jury.
kids, if any of those jurors have school kids, they got that call today.
Yes, and then to my knowledge, several of them did.
You know, Barnes, knowing because you obviously did the
It's insane that all this is part of it, isn't it?
This is too inside baseball, and
Insane.
you can't tell me. I know you'll just say I can't tell you. But did the defense team consider having female defense attorneys on the team to try to negate and relate to that aspect of jury?
They had Wisco, but Wisco was at the table the whole time, but didn't speak. And the thing is, both of these guys are kind of older school guys. So, I mean, my proposal was to bring in a whole team. Even if I wasn't challenging Richard's authority yet. That was probably going to come, and maybe it was right to figure that was coming. But but I wasn't doing that out of the gate because I felt we could. The guy I recommend for the digital, who's fantastic at digital presentation of evidence, also would have caught the fact that it wasn't that there was a gap between the two earlier. He's African American. His whole team is African American, and so that has an added utility. He's been in and out of courts, state and federal, across the country. He knows how to present himself, all the rest. But it would be good to have a multiracial men and women at the table in this kind of case. I have I have two women attorneys, but one primary one I was going to bring in, who was actually there. The other one of my other jury consultants, who was also the press person, is a woman. So we were going to have a much bigger, better team, and then the substance would have been handled in part by people like Andrew Branca on terms of consultation, and then a combination of me and some other people. Ideally, I mean that was the best defense. They had agreed to this back in March.
Yep, this is what goes on when doing these cases from not just the defense perspective, but also from the DA's office perspective. When DA's offices, or at least larger DA's offices, because I only worked in LA County, which is a huge office, you have these conversations about who the prosecutors are going to be and how they're going to be perceived to the jury, which aspects of the jury you need attorneys to connect with, who the defendant is, who the victims are, what the charges are, what the community makeup is like. And these are all conversations that go on in trying these cases, which is why, defense firms that have more diverse and deeper kind of teams of attorneys can really pick and choose how to present to the jury, because all jurors come in with bias, and you try to lean into that so they can, if they can't relate to the defendant, at least they can relate to one of the attorneys. And it really does matter.
Oh, completely. And I wanted to reach out to black pastors in Kenosha. I have connections to a good number of them in Milwaukee because I've worked on some high-profile civil rights cases, done several of them, done most of them for free. So the connections were there, and Richards just put a squash on. Well, had said yes and then said no 2 weeks before trial.
It's a great movie,
Ludwig.
Great movie.
Leading up to that point, but had promised, "Don't worry, you'll have jury selection." And I was like, "Well, as long as we have jury selection, everything will be okay." By the way, somebody asked why Kyle is leaving. I think it was Runkle the Bailey. Why Kyle is leaving through the back. He's not in custody. It's solely because, for security purposes, he is both coming in and leaving in the back. He's not going through the front door of the courthouse. He's coming through the judge's
Yeah,
chamber.
can't.
Makes
and
sense.
Shouldn't be in the public hallways either.
Right, he's
I would
not.
imagine.
He's not.
So
Everything is
question
through
here.
the judge's chamber.
Question here: given what's going on, what's alleged to have gone on with the jury members being tailed by the press or whatever, if there's a mistrial at this point, I mean, coupled with everything else that has gone on, is it not a mistrial with prejudice because it will not be any less of a circus the next time around? It won't be any easier to sequester the jurors to prevent them from the outside intimidation that we see. Like, is that?
Well, I would think. No, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that was it. Is it a grounds? Is it more of a grounds for mistrial?
Those
with prejudice?
issues you identify would be grounds to transfer venue. They wouldn't be grounds for mistrial with prejudice. You know, he can still grant.
Well, there's the
mistrial
other
with prejudice.
bloke. He's not here at the
And what it is,
moment,
you could say,
who
look, we have a
only does
combination of
defence trials,
two-thirds
and
of
he's got
issues
10 years
mistrial without
experience, and
prejudice, one-third
he
mistrial
said
with
some
prejudice.
amazing
There's enough
stuff,
for with prejudice to
but
grant
he's
with
not there at the moment.
And I agree. Tactically, I would have stuck with the mistrial with prejudice. I wouldn't have given the judge a lesser option, make him do it, unless Kyle told me, you just get a
True.
mistrial. I don't care what happens. You beg for
Yeah.
a mistrial, I'm out of here. You guys were
Yeah.
wrong about what happened in the jury process. You know, so that's I think, I mean, what the information we gave them before trial.
Well, that might work in Rittenhouse's favour because the media does tend to move on to the next bullshit that they want to sling. You know, because Kyle's out on bail. He's not sitting in prison rotting. I'm sure he's out. And so if the appeal takes years, good. You know, 2-3 years. Do you think the media are going to be talking about Kyle Rittenhouse? America would have burnt by then.
Basically the testimony of Krause, and but I got the impression that she is not, and correct me if I'm wrong, please. But I got the impression that she is not typically a lawyer who does a lot of speaking and presentation. She seemed
Correct.
a little nervous.
She's the discovery lawyer. She managed all the discovery, all the rest. Now, I don't know why it is she didn't participate much at all in trial, because she was very
great.
quick and very efficient right there on her feet going up against the prosecutor.
Homer talk. We just saw it. We just saw it
that suggested
happen.
to me she had,
He said he was hired by MSNBC.
you know, given that, I think they would have been wise to use her more.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I was getting to. Is my statements about her appearing nervous is that she should not appear nervous, or she should not be nervous, because she did fantastic, and anyone would have been happy to have her giving that.
He didn't say Rumpole of the Bailey. One of the blokes they have on here is called something like Riley of the Bailey. I think he was referring to him.
I'm
Unless
wondering
I'm
if maybe
wrong.
part of it is just her experience level, that maybe she doesn't have enough trials under her belt for any one of them to have felt comfortable with her taking on a more
could be the
significant
case. I mean,
role in this kind of a case.
Well, Richards didn't want anybody to help, period, other than
Very nice of you, Galen.
And if I don't know if you noticed, but the body
Very
language
kind.
between the two of them was, but at least by Corey towards Richards, was
Yeah, great
people
movie,
interpreted
Steve.
as negative through large parts of the trial. Now, maybe that's just Corey being Corey. He doesn't quite hide his. I don't get these lawyers that don't know how to.
He had a line actually at one point in the trial where he said, "If I were doing the jury questions, we would have done, or I've done this."
Who's turned up? He's back.
It felt like a little bit of a little poke across the table.
That's the fellow I like. Laws of self-defense. 10 years only defending people on self-defense charges. Interesting bloke, knows his stuff. They don't let him say enough, though. Someone said that them using Karens as a slur shows their bias. These are all the... I think it is a bit nasty, the way Karen has become a slur. It's a racist slur against white women. But all this lot are pro Kyle Rittenhouse. You know, they really are. I mean, that's been proved. They've already talked about woke and all that bullshit. They're not involved in any of that stuff. These are all quite based people. I know that sounds weird for lawyers, but within that limitation, they're a bit based.
In general, but I mean that was their default on everything. So jury.
Interestingly, Richard, that's a very interesting point. One in the chat, and be honest, I'm going to put a 1 in the chat. 1 in the chat whilst watching this trial. Have you thought I'd have been a good lawyer. Come on, be honest. Have you thought that at least once?
As a lawyer, it's not economically.
One in the
practical
chat,
for
if
very
while
many lawyers
watching
to have a
this you
specialty in
thought
self-defense,
I'd
'cause
be a
there's not
good
enough cases that
barrister
can pay the
or
bills
attorney, whatever
that
you
are
want to
fit
call
that
it.
within your local jurisdiction. It's a rarity.
Yeah,
So,
nice one. I
so
thought
when you
you'd
have
like
those
him.
kind of people, you use them. I mean, when someone like Andrew's done this for a quarter century, you use
Rags
them.
and
It's
Galen.
insane not to use them. And I said some stuff before trial just to try to
There you
try
go.
to influence Richards and the defense. But now I'm free because the case is closed up. I mean, these were just core mistakes that now we're seeing.
Oh,
the
Mrs. Me in it has
consequences
actually
of,
done a
and
bit.
kid, an innocent kid, completely innocent kid, one of the most innocent
Hello,
kids I've ever
Charlie.
seen in any case through American history, is at risk because his lawyers decided to play ego games.
Well, chances are they're going to get another crack at it because I really don't have confidence this judge is going to do a mistrial with prejudice because the more that the attorneys.
I thought you seemed to know what you were talking about. I thought that actually. Yeah, I mean, not a lawyer here, but most of these people on this thing have been. I mean, I don't know if you caught this morning's stream, but I said it was called something like, let's face it, the defense have been rubbish. I think Rittenhouse has had a terrible defense. I thought they were terrible.
Way than the prosecutors. You should be the one continuing to talk. You should be the one getting loud. You're the one whose client can go to prison, not the prosecutors.
They would,
go
I
home
think
either way.
if I was at that table, they would have to drag me out of that courtroom
Screaming.
before I stopped talking. I
I
mean,
think you can imagine a
that's
scenario.
just my fundamental responsibility as an advocate for the client. I'm not going to. Certainly, if the state is doing it, absolutely. But even if they weren't, I'm going to. Obviously, this judge responds.
Did you really,
You take
Richard?
3 talking
How
points,
interesting.
And you repeat them 20 times, so you have 60 apparent talking points.
Different
And
ways,
oh, look at that volume of argument. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, I guess I'll go your way. I can
This
do
is a
that
skill
too.
as a prosecutor.
Wow.
Anyone who watches my videos knows that I restated.
Richard, how many times have you been in court fighting with ex-misses? I know you've had a few.
Done this a number of times where you can see he thinks through the whole process. He talks about Days of Reckoning, House of Cards. I forewarned.
Yeah,
you.
but Wolfie,
He's getting up to-
it's not meant to be about that, is it? It's meant to be about the truth. But it's a tricky one. I mean, how could you do it?
How do you walk a judge back from Day of Reckoning? I've never heard a judge use such strong language, and I can't imagine any defense counsel in his brain not being like, "This is where you."
21st dissident. What do you actually do? Oh, there you go.
Is here.
Civil and dabble. Okay,
The
interesting.
founding fathers.
We have another attorney who watches this stream. He's not here at the moment, though.
And stuff
I like
that
it.
this judge actually takes seriously, right? I mean, you got.
I like it.
You know, you have to approach people from their perspective, and this is obviously his perspective. So go there. Justice,
Yeah.
Constitution, civil rights, founding
Compliment
fathers.
ceiling.
Why we have
Spartans
these
pushed
systems in
over the
place.
cliff. That's what
Or
you need to say. We're
you
like,
could go
we're
in the
like
other
Spartans.
direction
We were
and
pushed over the cliff by
snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory.
Constantly
I'm going to get that
over
phrase
and over
right
again.
in a snappy way.
They've never been, the defense has never been close to snatching defeat from the jaws of victory because that requires you to snatch at anything.
Yeah, they've
they're
been so
not doing it.
quiet.
They
Well, I
won't do it.
Do you guys
Hello,
have,
Henry.
another update on this whole juror media situation?
Sure. I've been waiting
Okay.
to say it, but you go for it. Yeah.
The plot thickens. So apparently,
It was
so,
Rachel Maddow. It was Maddow.
about 10 minutes ago, Jack Posobiec on Twitter said that Judge Schroeder says the reporter who was taken into custody was James J. Morrison. And he claimed
I
to be working
agree.
for
The second
Irene
part of
Beyond
that statement,
NBC in
Galen.
New York. On LinkedIn, there's an Irene Beyond who lists herself as an NBC producer in New York, and apparently she also had a Twitter, which has been nuked within the last 10 minutes.
Do you have any fun videos to show us? I'm getting sick of these lawyers now. They're starting to haunt my dreams. Well, thanks for the donation, Hayden, but
some
I
legitimacy
haven't
to that,
really
right?
got much else to say, and I just put it out to the scrubs if we just wanted to listen to these for 20 minutes or so, because and it was an overwhelming yes, so that's why we're doing it, I'm afraid. I mean, I'm quite into it, I have to say. I find it very interesting. Why do the British call them solicitors and Americans call them lawyers? Well, there's attorneys, there's briefs, there's solicitors, there's lawyers. I don't know, maybe 21st Dissident can fill us in. I always refer to mine as my brief.
We'll retrieve
If it's been
tweets.
archived,
I have a specialist narcotics brief. Everyone in Dartford uses him.
commercial, so people have a bot that
They're ready
copies
to
every
go.
single tweet into a Discord. So if something like that was set up, or if it was
So 21st Dissident, can I ask you, my layman's opinion is that the defense just haven't been passionate enough. They haven't objected enough. They haven't jumped on things that are, they didn't jump on all that Fifth Amendment stuff, and when the judge says things like Day of Reckoning, they didn't jump on that. They just seem to have been very passive, in my lay opinion. What do you think?
In this, and she was forced to delete her Twitter, even though she could have put it in protected mode. But
she was doxxed in court by the judge by
Okay,
saying her
that's
name and her
interesting.
occupation.
The racist judge.
She'll also say that people were creating fake accounts with her profile, so she had to.
No, his name's Robin Murray, if you need one.
Is a fake account. What case did we see that in? That was the individual who said. That was in the Coomer deposition, where he said he had to. When he said that the tweets were not.
I
coming
think
from
so,
me,
Henry.
he was
They
referring
certainly have to me.
impersonating accounts who started creating tweets with his face on it.
Well,
But
it is
no,
interesting. It's interesting that the judge moved as quickly as he did, insofar as he says, we don't know the truth of this. We're going to look into it. Also, MSNBC is out.
I agree. They should have objected, and even at the initial stages, moved for a change of venue. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I just think they've been
if the judge has
passive.
been reading what MSNBC has been saying about him, right? Like,
Well, we know
I
he's been
wonder if
reading a lot. Too much.
I wonder if that's that's the
Didn't
product of
yesterday-
this.
Yesterday, the judge, can somebody
Rufus.
refresh? The judge yesterday talked about the media at the beginning of
Oh,
the
yes,
day.
he had a
Yeah.
10-minute aside.
Talked about it
How
about
he
three
was
or
being unfairly
four
treated.
times.
It's
That's how
quite
you
clear
got
he's reading the media consistently, and he's not liking what they have said about him now, that they do not view him as an ally in the pursuit of
21st Dissident, why a change of venue to get it out of Kenosha? Or is that an obvious question?
Policy. Like that was the last straw before his aside yesterday.
Right,
The
okay.
defendant picks
Yeah, I
the jurors.
agree.
It's a bad
and so-
idea. I mean, his JA or
Wow.
his judicial assistant or clerk should, or his bailiff can monitor the media for threats, but he shouldn't be reading the media about him while he's in trial. It's just never
Total
good.
agreement.
Like, don't read the comments when you're angry, hungry.
Well, thankfully, I don't need a lawyer over here. $100 seems to sort most things out. Or just pretend you can't speak Khmer. Well, I can't.
No, and because anyways, for anybody who had not seen it previously, he got angry with some reporting from Tubin, who said his decisions didn't make sense. So he's reading.
Wait, they're letting Tubin report again?
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, he's been
Only
back for a
on
little bit.
Zoom.
He had a whole mea culpa thing.
We
on
need to
TV
send
at
Judge
one point,
Schroeder a link to our.
where they were like, "Well, this is a little awkward."
Oh, his mea culpa was
Okay,
hilarious.
nice one.
That is
Nice
that
to have
should be
someone here who
required
knows a bit
viewing
about
in,
it.
Every college class.
In his apology, he said he was so angry with himself that he spanked himself.
That was
All right,
quick
that's the
and
dirty joke of the day.
Well, welcome,
I'll tell you one thing, I had a
Runkle from the
dream.
airport.
Hey,
Oh, sorry.
airport version. The airport version is an avatar. I had a dream last night about live streaming. I mean, this is how all invasive the last week to
I'll be
have
right back.
become.
Oh, now we're without a leader.
Yes, Viva Fry turned YouTuber. You had a dream about live streaming.
No, I had a dream about live streaming this particular trial. Then I had the dream about what's invariably gonna happen. What's his face? Krause is going to come and say we've decided to accept.
Nice one, Duck Boy Jiden. Fingers
Sure
crossed.
Peter's gonna have
And
to
Lee
walk it back.
James.
Then it's gonna
Great
be
streams,
whether or
but
not-
please, could you create
prediction
better
is a dream
content?
state? Is that what you're
Chris,
saying?
can you explain
it
what's
was
just
dream.
happened in the
It was
call?
a
I'm
vision.
lost here.
And then what's going to happen? is
Thank
there will be
you,
an argument
Duck
as to
Boy,
whether or
and
not
thank
Sheriff
you,
DC's verbal
Lee.
motion supersedes the written motion, and now they
What
no longer
just
have
happened?
a motion with prejudice for a mistrial.
That sounds plausible.
They came in, the judge and the prosecution and the defense all rolled in, and it turned out that someone had been caught following the blacked out jury bus that takes all the jury home on the sly. And it turned out that when they pulled him over, he jumped a red light to keep up with them. And he said that he'd been hired by MSNBC. The judge has banned MSNBC from the courtroom. and hopefully they'll get in fucking trouble for that. But that's why they came back into the court. That's all.
Just want to say that was actually some good lawyering. Their DA knows how to actually do a
The
cross-examination.
DA on that case has been fantastic.
She was very, very good in the defendant in getting the defendant to just admit to all kinds of things. She knows exactly where it is in the transcript. She just hands him a copy of the police statement at the very start.
All right, people, listen, I'm shattered. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. If you want to go and check that out, you can find it. Just type in REKIETA law. It's a bit weird because there's so many people watching it. You don't really get to chat, but I'm a bit shattered now. I've got to talk to my girlfriend. It's nice to talk to her before she goes to bed. I'm really worried. I really want the lovely young lad to walk. I really do. I don't think. 21st Dissident, are you still here? Answer me this while you're still here. Again, in my layman's terms. Don't worry, people. We've still got a bit of music. Still got some time to sort the grift out. I don't think this should have even gone to court. And I think in a different cultural climate, it wouldn't have done. I think it's appalling that it even ended up going to court. That's how I feel. Listen, thanks to everyone. I'm losing my voice. Thanks to everyone who donated. Thanks to everyone engaged in the chat. You lot have been on fire. There's so many. It's amazing when you people talk because it gives me something to work with. Sorry I didn't have a lot of clips or anything tonight, but I had a very busy day at work. That's very kind of you, Brandon. I sometimes feel a little bit lame when I haven't got loads of clips to show you, but sometimes I just don't have time when I'm doing 2 a day. I will be streaming again, probably about 8:30 UK time tomorrow morning. Get on my Substack if you like reading short stories, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. Take care, people. Ta-da! Thanks to Rags and Moslab for keeping the place in order. Although I must say, you're all pretty well behaved. Ta-da! Can you hear that?
Tell your daddy you're fighting good.
Yeah, there you go. Nice one. Thank you.
Tell your mama you're coming home. Overall of that death syndrome. But you realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel.
Wow. And some young boy's life. It's crazy. Nice one, our pal. Cheers, Shane.
Get right in that big black plane. Kill your conscience along your brain. But you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's
Cold hard steel. Go on, Bowley.
Because the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's
Cold hard steel. Oh, Lord. Yeah, she's been great stuff. Solo. I might have to talk to Dutton and get him on.
Do whatever they tell you to.
Alright, it's great stuff.
Tell yourself it ain't really you. But when the slaughtering has begun, you'll be murdering someone's
Cheers, Will.
son.
Yeah, you've been great, ST911. LOLC 350.
Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord, yes, you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's
Cold hard steel. Lord.
Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold
We absolutely do, Ludwig. This is the better solo of the two. I remember half of my life. And there you go. There you have it. Boom, boom, boom. Look after yourselves, people. Take care, and I'll see you in the morning. Hoit. Now get off down your own